But thank you all for coming out tonight. I just wanted to introduce myself as Randy Phillips, the new executive director. I know it isn't. They're recording it in there, but hopefully.
Oh, okay.
Do I need to project louder?
Yes.
Evidently. I can do that. I do have a big mouth. While I'm the new executive director, at the same time, I'm not really that new to DATV. Some of you I've worked with on various shows. Some of you have worked on my show. In that I've been a director and producer here at DATV for over 20 years.
Wow.
In that, I've also been on the board of directors here at DATV since 2013. And in the last 3 years, have served as the chairman of the board. And so, as we were looking for a new executive director, I ended up stepping into that role. So as the new executive director, there are a lot of things that we're trying to do to bring things about, some of which is some of the new equipment. Hello, hello, hello. Suddenly I feel like the person behind the curtain, you know. Maybe I should be singing Follow the Yellow Brick Road, I'm not sure. But as we all, now that thing's thrown me. But for the most part, coming here, we want to hear from you. And that's the biggest thing about doing a membership meeting together, is to hearing from you, hearing what you have to say that you would like to see here at DATV. Some of the changes that you've already begun to see, and some of that is simply because of things that, like in our lounge, those the vending machines that have been in there have been removed, not really because that we requested it, but evidently the people that were putting those in there no longer were making any money off of it, so they removed them. Economics, who knew, you know?
Pretty much. 50 cents to do that.
But because of that, we need to reinvent that room even. So the idea is to reinvent it into an inspiration lounge and take it just a little bit step further, so that way we can inspire people to come in and learn more about DATV and become more creative. DATV has always been a learning center for all of our community, not only for us, but even for our younger ones, but to begin to share with our community and teach our community more about ways in which they can communicate. Everyone today is a media creator in some form or fashion, whether that be through using their own cell phones or in those regards, or stepping up to a more professional camera. And that's why here at DATV, we want to be able to help people be able to spread their message in a more professional manner. And some of that is going to be done with some of the lovely little toys that you see here. And I even see that one person who's standing back behind the camera right now is planning even on talking about, or do you want to talk about the switcher next? Okay, you got the floor.
So, you know, a lot of you know that we have purchased 10 new cameras. They will shoot 4K. At some point, we will teach you how to do that if you wish. It takes a different card, but it's, you know, it's not that difficult. But the idea is, right now we have 10 of these cameras. These are the AG, or actually the CXAC1 or 350s. And we have 10 of them. So right now, like some people want to take out 2 or 3 for a production. We can't do it yet just because we're trying to give as many people access to a camera. But these are great cameras. People love them so far. But our vision is, at the beginning of the year, is to buy 10 more and then just retire the old cameras. They're 9 years old and you can't find parts for them. So originally we thought we would sell those, but you know, you just can't find parts. But there'll be a total of 20. So you'll have the ability to take out more than one on one of your shoots. moving over this way is something that a lot of you folks have already seen, but you haven't seen this version of it. This is our portable switcher. And with it, you can hook up to 4 cameras. They're easy to set up. In the past, you had to convert HDMI out of those old cameras to SDI and then run it however long. Well, right now, we're using the old staff cameras from the production truck that have SDI built into them. So guess what? That takes away the need to have that converter. That's gone. When we get the new cameras, you'll be able to hook the new cameras up to this. The other thing that's different is you used to have a Clearcom box, just like you do in the studio, and that had an extra cable hooked up to those cables. Then you had to run it back and plug it into another device that was on here. That's gone. You now have wireless headphones. And the cool thing about these headphones is you don't only have to use these for this switcher. If you're taking 2 cameras out and you've got Mary on that camera and I'm over here, you can kind of be directing. Hey, Mary, get that guy who's talking right now. That sort of thing. It's just a good, simple way of communicating. But you can hook up to 5. Right now we have 5. I can get more if we want. But there are 5 of these headphones. And so the person will sit here and direct a program. And it's all done through this simple interface that we have here that you can just click on a camera and change it. Oh, boy. All right. I don't know how that happened, but it did. But you just click on a camera, and it happens. Another thing that we have done is we added a nice little recording device that records on your SD card. So I have 2 cards in here currently, and you can use those cards and then bring them back, put all the footage on your hard drive, and then edit, right? And then just make sure we get the card back. So you can do that, or you can actually use your own card if you want. So these are really good. This is just like the backup unit we have in our control room, and it seems to be working pretty well. And then lastly, in the past, you could only hear the audio through the speakers. So if you're checking the audio, you had to use the speakers. Well, just recently, we added a little amplifier, and you can plug in one of the headsets that come with your camera. So plug that in, and that's what I would do. So it's cool. I mean, there's a lot less gear this is it. Before you had other pieces of equipment, and there were cables all over the place, and it's very light and easy to use. And if anybody has any recommendations, hey, what about if you tried this or that with that? Hey, we'd love to hear that stuff. So that is, Dale uses it all the time. And I would recommend anybody who wants to do multicam production, take that thing out. And then all you have to do is come back and throw some names in. So, and an open and a close. And they are very simple to hook up. And I'm going to show you something right now, because you might go, oh yeah, I bet it's easy to do. Steve's already set all this stuff up. But it's not. This is the connector. Plugs into the back of the camera if I find it on the new one. Bear with me. I think that's it. And anybody who's interested, as we get through the meeting, you're more than welcome to see the back of this unit because it's so easy. Something pop up there? Or did I plug it into the wrong place? You got 3 cameras? I got it plugged in the wrong place. There are 2 outputs on this thing. That's plug and play. And so we just recently put out a little promo to promote this workshop. It's more fun than your Easy Bake Oven. And I think it is. And it's so easy to do. Like I said, you just sit here and you punch through your cameras as you need them. Talk to your people wirelessly. The other cool thing is this does not differ as far as getting audio does not differ much from taking a single camera out and getting audio from something, right? What you do is you plug the audio source into one of your cameras. We show you how, in the workshop, how to call up that audio from that camera. And that's what you use. You have a lot more control that way. So your camera person can hear it, everything's good, and you call it up, and that's the audio you record. So that's this portable switcher. Even though you think you've seen it, it's not that iteration of switcher that you've seen in the past. So I find it very encouraging for this. Other things that we have talked about is, the 10 cameras that we want to get. After I unplug this, 10 new cameras. We want to make the wireless camera system that the staff uses for festivals, we want to make that available to you. So a lot of times, you might have 2 cameras. One's going to be over there, and oh yeah, I got a cable for that I can hook up to the switcher, but the other one's way over there, and there's a lot of people. We're going to show you how to use the wireless camera system. Easy. It's easy to use. So you'll be able to take that out. And another idea is we're going to put a wireless camera in the studio for shows like Dayton Music Scene and some of these others. You might even want to do it on your talk show, depending on what, it's your vision of creativity. And you'll have a person running a wireless camera, they'll have a wireless headphone on, and it'll be connected to our control room. So that's another one of the ideas that we have, and I'd like to see that, come to fruition. But as far as the new equipment, I'm going to bring Eric up and talk about the new GoPros that we have and how easy those things are to use. So, and like I said, if you have, come on, Eric, if you have any suggestions, ideas, or whatever, whether it's to buy equipment, or do you think about doing this to the studio, or hey, what about the opportunity of this? Let us know, because even though I look smart, I'm not very smart, but I look smart. So I'm going to turn this over to Eric.
Hello, everyone. I'm Eric.
Hi, Eric.
So I think I know most of you, or have met most of you at some point. So we recently got a GoPro Hero 10 that's available for checkout. Now, if you've used any recent GoPros, these are actually very similar. They have a screen on the back, so let me power this on. Powers here. Before I go into it, I should note we set up a case around the GoPro, so you actually don't have to disassemble the case or anything. There's an SD card inside. In the case here, we actually give out a couple of USB cables, so you can plug these right into your computer. You don't have to take anything out. You can just plug it right in. So let me power this on, and I'll show you how to use it a little bit. Power's on the side here. I have the beeps turned off, but if you want to hear it make beeps, it'll beep a few times when you turn it on. I don't know how well you can see it, but there is a screen over there. Now, one thing I've noticed, let me hit record. Sometimes you can see a front view. Let me see. Well, recently I was using it and I could actually see a front view on the screen here, which was pretty cool, but I can't see that right now. But recording is easy, like any other camera. You just hit the button up there to record. And we have this mount for it here, which is nice. You can walk around, and it has pretty steady image anyway. Like I can walk around and get pretty steady image of everybody. Over the summer, I went up in a Huey helicopter for the air show, and I just had this gripped to me the whole time and just recorded the flight as it went, and the footage was very smooth, I thought. So there's a lot of use that you can get out of this camera. It doesn't automatically have that wide fisheye look like older GoPros had, and it can shoot 4K even though you don't necessarily need 4K. It does have that option. So let me stop recording. So looking at the card in here, looks like our card has about 2.5 hours on it. So, yeah, like I said, you don't have to take the case apart or plug anything, or you don't have to take it out of the case is what I'm trying to say. Let me show you where you'd plug in your USB. So, this is one of the microphones up top here, the shotgun mic. You can plug it in back here. If you don't want to use that, there is actually a microphone we have mounted to the case here, which is also pretty nice. This middle flap, it's a little, I know it's hard to see from far away. This middle flap has a place where you can plug this cable in. So then all you have to do is plug this into your computer. You can just grab your footage that way. So yeah, it's actually very simple and easy to use. It's a very lightweight camera, so it's very easy to walk around with. You can get a variety of shots. It's great for walking shots especially. So yeah, I believe, so at this time we actually, well, we have one for members to check out. So like I said, and it'll come in this big gray case here, which is nice. So yeah, it's pretty lightweight, straightforward, and allows you to do a lot. We actually have quite a bit of attachments. So if you want an attachment, just let us know what kind of attachment you'd like, and we have a box in the back with a variety of attachments. By default, you'll get it like this, but we can give you, so it'll be a smaller tripod you could set on a table, or we have like suction cup tripods you could mount to an object or a wall. So we do have options like that if you have a special request.
Remember, you don't have a lot of the same capabilities with the GoPro as you do this. Hooking up external sound systems, the ease of digital zoom, the quality on these, you almost can't compare the two. That's a good quality camera, but I would take this out on whatever shoot I'm using before that, unless I'm recording like a community event where there's a lot of people and I'm walking around. So somebody said something about a tripod. If you need a tripod, there's a monopod that we can hook up to that, which is just one straight pole and it extends, and then you can use it as a standing tripod. And Dale's not out here because he's switching the cameras, but he would want me to relay to you folks how happy we are by your participation this past year. Thank you so much for the help you've given us, not only producing shows of your own for the channel, but coming out and helping us in the community bring programming to the folks who can't go out to these events, because that's very important. And when I talk to people about doing your own show, never minimize the importance of your program and what it means to people at home who are watching it. You have to believe that your show is important, because it is. So, but again, I think that Dale would want me to, show his gratitude for all the hard work that everybody has put in this past year. So, anybody else have any questions? And if you are interested, these are the new cameras are the cameras that we are teaching in the new workshops. We will put out maybe a sign-up sheet or something. Hey, you want to sign up for the portable switcher? We'll pick a day. Like I just did my first one with that system this past Saturday, and it was well received. And everybody seemed to understand how easy it was to use, and when you would use it and when you wouldn't use it. We don't want you to take that out there in the field if it's not going to be beneficial to you. So, and like Eric said, we pretty much have the information together for the GoPro workshops. We just have to schedule those. And I think that's actually a pretty cool setup. I'd like to have that set up for myself. But the cool thing about that is, like Eric was showing you, you don't have to take anything apart, because we don't want you taking anything apart. Like to get your footage, hey, just plug that sucker into your computer and offload the video. We actually thought about smaller cameras if we were going to teach more youth workshops, but that always seems, honestly, to fall apart at the adult end. We have the will and the desire, but it seems to always fall apart over there. So we have not thought about anything smaller than this, and this is actually smaller and lighter than the ones you're taking out now. Not so much where you're going to go, wow, that's very light, but they are lighter. So, and they give you a lot of capabilities, again, that the smaller cameras don't. 2 mic inputs, you can hook up the output of this to easily to a big monitor. You can record on the SD cards, which are cheap. So, but it's something to think about. Smaller cameras. I don't know if there is a headphone out jack, because what you do is you buy this kit that allows you to connect this thing to different devices, and I don't know if it's built into the kit. But that's something to research.
I don't know about headphones yet, though.
Yeah, because you know what? That's a great question, though. I mean, it's one thing to be able to plug audio. Now, it works well, but it takes a mic level input, and that seems to work pretty well. But you're right. You want to be able to monitor
I
that.
presume you could put a wireless mic into that too, or?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm trying to remember what they call this, the media something kit that you pay extra for that the GoPro actually sits in. Media mod, who said that?
He came in on
Oh, okay. But it has the capability of taking various, actually you could just unplug the mic up here, put the receiver here, or we could put the receiver here and plug it into that port. Now, it does have the USB-C out. There are a lot of different attachments for that kind of thing. Headphones, that sort of thing. I just have to research and see if that's one of the things that you can hook up to it as an output. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I think you can. You have to get an adapter. So, as you know, you might interview a local writer, somebody that writes books and stuff. You know, you don't have to get up there and advertise, because you can't really, but you can advertise without advertising. Just by the mere fact that you've got them sitting across from you and, how'd you get started? What books did you write? You don't have to say, well, how much was that book? You've already promoted them. So as an example, and this is an example I always give, hey, I've got Kate here from Kate's Pizzeria, and she's going to show us how they make their pineapple pizza. Okay, right there. Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to Google them right now. It's not like you have to whip open the yellow pages anymore. So I'm not saying everybody run out there and do that, but that's how you get around the advertising. So you can do a lot of promotion without advertising.
Our point for inviting you all here is to hear your ideas of how you would like to improve DATV. So with that in mind, we open the floor to you. What ideas would you like to see happen at DATV? You don't have to speak at once. Just, go right ahead.
got some ideas. Do I need to go to the mic, or are you okay?
Nope, we're going to try using
We can do it like this.
Okay.
Oh, okay, thank you. I have,
tell you, I warned you, right?
I have,
Got my pick.
okay, I got several ideas, so mark these down. Number one, it would be nice if we could paint some more green on the walls here, all the way to the end there, to have a bigger green screen. The only thing you would really have to purchase is the green that rolls out. And I would volunteer to do, some painting or something like that, get enough people to help paint, to put that green screen up there. And also, I do a lot of directing here. And as far as the lights are concerned, we have 3 areas for the lights. Over here at the permanent setting, the green screen, and a lot of times shows are back here. So it would be nice if we had a chart, and all the lights that you need for this area here would be marked on that chart permanently. And then all the ones that you need for this area here, for the green screen, you have those marked on there so that people will know the difference between which ones to light up, and then the same ones for back here. Now, I know you're going to have a lot of probably extra lights, but that could be for like a setting like this here where you might need several lights to cover quite a few people here, something like that. So if you could put that on a chart, post it back here where people don't have to go, well, let me try this one, let me try this one, let me try this one. Because like I say, I do a lot of directing and setting up studio. So it would just make it a lot easier to do that. Last but not least, it would be nice if we could have a gala to put on a gala or some kind of fundraiser where we can, whatever we need that you have to purchase out of pocket, you know, the gala would help, you know, the fundraiser would help do that.
Well, that one I can guarantee has already been covered.
Okay, I think I'm finished now.
That's already on the drawing board. You will see that this next
Okay.
year. Actually, there's quite a few things on the drawing board, but we'll keep you surprised with some of them. Go ahead, Tim.
It would be really nice to have a computer-controlled lighting rig in here, but, you know, obviously that would be a huge expense to be able to do that. Failing that, however, you could put faders on the lights as a sort of on the wall somewhere that you could fade them up and down. I don't... Expense too, yeah. I know it is, I know. It's just a wish list.
But that's just it. These are, even though it's a wish list, I mean, there's always something to shoot for. Anyone else?
I don't need the mic. This doesn't necessarily involve an expense, but with so many people with so many vast ideas, I'm certain several of us have spawned ideas that have not been brought to fruition. So, and including myself, I've been a member for about 5 or 6 or more years, but I've only had one show on one episode. And so I was thinking perhaps if there was a team of individuals who could listen to what your idea was, and even if you've done your one episode, to kind of motivate and see you through to pushing you to do your next show, because a lot of us are bombarded with jobs and families and other careers and nonprofits that we don't get to get in here as much as we could if we scheduled it a little better. So if there was someone who could help incentivize it, perhaps at the end of the year have a most popular show contest or vote or something, anything. It wouldn't even matter, but anything to, you know, give people a means of saying, hey, you had a great idea, we saw what you could do, come on in here, do it, you have an audience. Someone to help motivate, get your ideas off the ground. If you're pulled between several things, but really want to do that eventually.
Are you thinking something like an inspiration lounge?
Maybe a call a recorder to say, hey, what's your timeline look like? You know, something. I see.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Angel, and I'm a communication major with Sinclair. And I was wondering, do you guys partner with your visual communications at all? Or do you know if you could, because I learned a lot of video here, and sometimes they don't offer as much as I need at Sinclair. So do you guys?
We offer to all the time, and one of the things that you're going to be seeing us doing a lot more is expanding our partnerships. We've already begun reaching out to many of the high schools in our area, and many of those high schools have already started to respond how they would like for us to continue to work together. We've also reached out to all 3 schools in the area as far as Sinclair, UD, and Wright State. Some of them have their own programs to some degree, but that's just it. Each one of them are limited to what they do. DATV is a learning center, and it always has been. It's one that we hope to not only inspire people, but have folks aspire to go greater. And that's the point of, where our partnerships are really going to come into fruition and really can become a reality.
The last thing I want to end on is that DATV has done that for me, which is why I asked, is there any correlation between the two? Because the classes here are more intimate, and I can really study the material more, get more hands-on experience more, versus what I'm being offered at Sinclair. So I hope to see you guys there.
Yeah, well, we're opening those doors. Hopefully, we get some people to walk through them.
We would love to have younger people on DATV, so if you guys want to help out, contact us, because Right now, we need people who can bend over and pick stuff up.
But with that in mind, always, if you need extra help, by all means, I mean, some of you already know to do this, to contact Dale. But please continue to do that, because that's exactly what he loves to do, is to be able to help connect people so that way if you do need an extra hand on your show, that he can, well, give these people a call. And that's what we're all about here, is making those connections as well.
You know what, and we also have a DATV volunteer board, Facebook page. We need to do a better job of promoting that via our website. Because that's where folks like you could reach out, hey, I'm looking for 3 people to help me do this thing in a month. Yes?
Do you guys still offer that in the break room, like a large calendar?
Sign up,
with
yes.
all the events? Are some of the member events on there as well, so that we could contact someone if we wanted to help out?
We have done a newsletter in the past, but it has, through the COVID period, most of it halted. So I can tell you for a fact that we have already begun working on it. In fact, it is even going to be going out very shortly. We worked on a draft of one even today. So you will be receiving it yet. And as far as volunteers, I come from a nonprofit world. And so we thrive on volunteers and people that we can get to do things. One of the tools that I use often was an online sign-up thing. So anytime any of you do need volunteers for anything, you can let me know, and I can easily put up a volunteer sign-up, so that way if you've got, all I need is a job description and the time slots that you need the various people there. And it's very simple to put up a sign-up sheet for each one of your events and each one of your shoots. Yes?
I say a membership letter is good, but it's also time is a problem with the time. By the time it gets out to people, maybe that show is over. The time is spent.
That's true.
It has to be in by the 15th of the month or something.
Yeah, and that's why quite often if you have specific sign-up needs, if you let me know, we can get that, and all that would be electronically done.
But like I said, keep in mind that we get the volunteer, we do have a volunteer page, that's immediate. So.
Yeah, so on the volunteer page, we can put that link for the various various ones that you're looking for volunteers for. If, Nick, if you're doing a shoot this Saturday and you need 3 people, we can find you 3 people real quick.
Are you going to do any podcast workshops?
Podcast workshops are in the works,
Yeah,
aren't
we
they?
do. Now, we haven't had the full-blown one in a while. But we teach the podcasting and pod studio. A lot of times it's just one-on-one. If you want to come in and learn how to use the pod studio, we'll teach you how to do that. We do need to organize a more thorough, full-blown podcast workshop, and we utilize the services of one of the local, dare I call him DJs, but he's a program director at the community radio station in Huber Heights. And he teaches a more thorough podcasting workshop where he talks about the history of podcasting, and where you can upload to. We teach you the nuts and bolts of it. So that we can teach anytime you want to call, you can call Dale or you can call myself, Steve, and say, hey, I'd like to learn how the podcasting equipment works. But I'm going to write down that we do need to set up, like I said, the more full-blown podcasting workshop. That's not so much a hands-on as it is, hey, here's what podcasting is, this is why it's important, here's where you can send it to, those types of things.
Can you run the podcast out of here?
We don't. You record it here, and then through training, we teach you where and how to upload it. So you take it home and you upload it.
So your podcasts are not live, they're
Well, you know what? So we're talking about, in a sense, two different things. So we have the pod, which is audio only, but then we have the pod studio, and that has cameras. So both of them can do audio, obviously, but the pod studio has cameras, so you can switch between the cameras while you're interviewing your person. But the other cool thing is, and this all happens in the span of an hour, we teach you how to go live on Facebook. And so if you go, and it has happened, I say it all the time, and I'll keep saying it. I've given that workshop, and people always go, hey, can I do a podcast, or, can I do a podcast? And it's like, okay, when? Right now. I go, okay, I've been interviewed many times because they get so excited, but we'll teach you how to go live to Facebook, and you can do it right then and there if you want. So, but absolutely. In the pod studio, that's the one that we teach you how to go live to Facebook or to YouTube or, whatever we like Facebook.
DATV has a spot on virtually all social media platforms that that we're aware of. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, even, so virtually any of those platforms, it has a presence on. We're going to be getting a lot more active with those. Some of them have not been real engaged of recent times, but all of that is changing.
We have a class with some seniors, slower learning. These younger people, they just real quick, and we had to do it 2 or 3 times to catch on.
Well, sometimes it does take a bit more. I mean, even our podcast class, some of the younger people get it in 10 minutes, and some people it takes them an hour. So, but if it takes you that long, it takes you that long. We want to make sure that you understand it.
Did you see this?
Anyone else? Dale, I believe, brought out some cards for all of you, reminding you of the Pod Studio Workshop.
Just feel free as you leave to grab one of these.
So this evening, like I say, we wanted to get you all together, just to come together and get your ideas and let you know how we want to hear from you. We want to be able to work together, and if you have further ideas, please shoot us an email. Get on the phone, give us a phone call. We want to hear from you because, after all, this is your community center. So with that, I thank you for coming, and thank you for sharing with us. Any last words of wisdom? If none, thank you.